Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Up the Reds. Today we're going to go through and we're going to kind of look at the predictive lineup for our match this Sunday against Brentford. Currently, it looks like Brentford, and I'm just going to kind of get into it pretty quickly. I know there's been a lot of lineups out there. Sorry for all the shit on the screen, but we'll obviously get to that here soon. But I wanted to get right into it. Obviously, yesterday was an extremely frustrating game. We all endured, and so we're going to be jumping into this pretty quickly. It looks like Brentford's probably going to run a 3-5-2. They're probably going to have Fernandez in goal. Canos, Janssen, Pinnock, and Sorensen will actually be in the back with Henry as their kind of left wing back. Three center mids. You've got Godos, Baptiste, and Norgard. And then you've got, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, Mbembo, Ivan Toney up front. I think Mbembo just actually came off a hat trick. Ivan Toney gave us problems last time. So some of the things I wanted to focus on today was obviously, trying to figure out, what formation and I guess what lineup we're going to throw. Again, some of the predictive lineup websites have actually shown us playing pretty much almost the exact same, lineup as we did against Arsenal. I see that as highly debatable. I did preview, one or two of the other fan channels. Seems like a lot of the fans have kind of mixed views on who needs to be in the lineup and who needs to be out right now during this kind of, wonky period of time. I think in terms of injuries, we've got, obviously we've got the AFCON 3 out, Naby Keita and Sadio Mane of Senegal actually drawing one another today in Guinea versus Senegal. So that was a 0-0, which is probably the best it could be in terms of them remaining friends. And then Mo Salah with Egypt. I think they play Zimbabwe tomorrow. And that's something that we'll have to look up as well. So with those three gone, I think we have Nat Phillips, who's still injured. We have Thiago, who looks like it's going to be quite a bit longer. And then we have Divock Origi, not a lot of info there. So that's something that could take a bit in terms of kind of getting them back into the lineup. So, as I'm looking at the lineup right now, we have a shit ton of defenders, which if you had, if we had said that, last year, I think we all would have laughed in terms of, everybody being available. But some of the lineups I've been seeing, Allison, Robertson, Kanate, Matip, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Milner, Henderson, that same midfield three from yesterday, Minamino back in the left wing spot for Mino and Jota. So I just kind of wanted to take a look at it today. I'm going to shift myself down here. And then we're going to pull up this lineup. And again, apologies for all the crap in the way. In terms of the front three, I do not see Minamino starting this game. I do know that Jurgen Klopp tends to kind of be the type of manager that will support. So if you have a down game, it's not a big deal. But again, I think Minamino is universally getting a lot of shit for it. Some people made the argument and basically said, oh, but had it not been for Minamino, then we may not have even been in the semifinals and blah 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 because he scored that goal, and that's all well and true. And the goal he actually scored against Villa was actually harder, in my opinion, than the goal that he missed yesterday at close range. So as far as Minamino goes, I'm actually going to bench him thus far for this game. I don't know if you can actually see that close enough, but with regards to his passing, his dribbling, his shooting, and his physicality, he received shit emojis for each one of those. So he's kind of in the doghouse a little bit. Don't look at me with your little Karen haircut. So he's just going to stay over there for now. So I'm not putting him in my starting lineup for tomorrow. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to shift Jota to the left wing, where I think he actually he plays best, obviously centrally, but in this scenario, I think we're going to need him there, kind of on the left wing. I'm going to take Roberto Firmino, who didn't have the most impressive game yesterday, but again, he tends to find himself back in these areas defensively, rather than more forward where he was before, kind of 2018, 2019, when he, Mane, and Salah were kind of on a tear. So he tends to find himself, caught up a lot back here, and then providing service out to the side. But I'm gonna throw him back up top. And then, interestingly enough, for my right wing this game, I'm gonna take Cade, and I'm actually gonna stick him on the bench. I thought he was decent on the day. Got his first senior team goal during the FA Cup. match against Shrewsbury, but at the same time, again, I think we need to continue to put the pressure on City as best we can, and the only way we can do that is with victory. So I'm going to do something a little different here, and I'm actually going to move Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain out to right wing. I think he could, he's the type of player that if there's the right overlap, he actually might cut in, take a shot. I think he'll be able to pass well. He's a fair dribbler, and I really do find this is actually probably more of a natural position for him, given our formation under Klopp anyway. I feel like that's where he kind of belongs, so he's going to go there for me. A lot of the people, again, when they're talking about Fabinho, Milner, Henderson, kind of that mid three again. Personally, if I could get away with it, I never want to see that same three ever again. I'm going to put Curtis Jones. I thought he was pretty lively in the game yesterday. I'm going to put him as left. Obviously, I am going to throw Henderson into the mix there, though. He definitely needs to up his game. He was probably had one of his more immature and kind of shit performances for us lately. Last game, and then obviously I'm going to throw Fabinho in the mix. Milner, I love him to death. I think he's a workhorse. I think he's been a great steward for the club, but I think he's kind of on his way out. I think for us, this really is kind of his last season as playing our all-around utility player. I'm also going to stick Morton on the sideline there. He's fine. I mean, he's fine, but just not who I'm really ready to throw up there. I'm already going to go ahead and say that I'm going to do the same with Bradley. Excuse me, and that's for spatial purposes here. Apologies, I know they're not going to be playing in black kits, but because of the green screen, Allison and Kelleher, and I don't know why Kelleher's teeny right here, but Allison and Kelleher, their kits, their green kits are gone, even though I only applied the chroma to the background. But I'm going to put Allison right up here in goal, Kelleher on the side for now, and then there were some thoughts. Let me just kind of move these guys around just a little bit so I can get a better view. Obviously, let's see. Defensively, I think looking at what we're going to do there, and I'm trying to figure out, it's not just what I would want, it's what I think that we're going to do. Hopefully the two go hand in hand if you're at all a decent kind of pundit or at least a, examiner of the game. Hopefully they go together. For me, I'm not sticking Robertson in the lineup. I know that a lot of them are predicting it. For me, I'm not doing it. For me, I'm going to go with Tsimikas at the back. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think that Tsimikas offers a lot more going forward. I think he's going to get the ball past the first post. I don't know what's going on with Robertson or Trent, for that matter, but I don't think that they're playing their best at the moment. And again, I think Tsimikas has kind of earned his spot. He's, he doesn't have quite the pace of Robertson, and he's not quite the defender. And that could be a problem with the 3-5-2 in Brentford and how they play in terms of kind of just going all out. But at the same time, I feel like Tsimikas is going to have the better outlet balls, and I think he's got a history of good service to Jota. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at there. I'm going to move him up a little bit just for space. Now, here's the interesting part. So, a lot of people were basically saying Konate over Virgil van Dijk. I don't know what's up with Van Dijk. He seemed incredibly lethargic the past two games, and that is a concern. I don't know if he just needs some rest. I don't know if he's fully back up to fitness. I mean, honestly, I don't want to make excuses for him, but his intensity has lacked. But at the same time, you've got Konate, who did not have a great game against Shrewsbury, and that's a concern as well, especially against a team that when we played a very good, strong, full lineup previously, Brentford, when we played Van Dijk and Matip back there before, they took great advantage of the scenario of the situation, and it went 3-3. So I think there's a risk either way. This is a hard one. Okay, here's what I will say. I think it is the people that are saying Gomez, kind of Matip Gomez, or excuse me, Konate Gomez. That's just not going to happen in my mind. Matip had, I think, his best game in red yesterday in terms of just kind of being the standout man of the match. So I am sticking Matip in there because I do think that we need that kind of senior player in there. Though he was, being beaten, by Brentford, I think he showed a lot of maturity. And I mean, again, I think in this scenario, I think in order for all players, just like with Robertson, obviously, if I'm benching Robertson on that, I think all players need to recognize that no matter how good they are, how good they've been, that they've got to stay sharp. So I am going to actually move Virgil van Dijk to the bench for this one, which some people may say is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to stick Konate. Let me see if I can actually... Is it control? Yeah, I'm going to stick Konate right there next to Matip. Now, the difference here is kind of the outside. We've seen Trent rebound from really bad games. This is probably his worst game for me. Nico Williams, I think, could come in. You could also play Gomez out there. Gomez, for me, doesn't really have the focus for Brentford at the moment, so he's going to the sidelines. Not saying that he's wouldn't be better. It's just I don't think you risk it in trying to kind of get the 3 points, especially given our form. I think that we are winless in the past 3. Brentford also has 3 defeats in the last 4, so we're two teams that obviously differing opponents, but we're two teams that have kind of been in shit form. Also, if I seem a little low energy, I apologize. Bit of a toothache that's been going on the past few days that I need to deal with, so I am medicated. But so between Nico, I thought Nico looked I thought he looked pretty decent for the 15 minutes he was on yesterday. But again, he's not really there yet. So I think for this one, as opposed to somebody like Virgil van Dijk, where you kind of give him a rest and then just see what's going on, I think because of Trent's, track record of coming back in after a bad game and kind of, doing fairly well, I think we'll do that. But obviously, he's got to be the first man. So for me, obviously, this is how it looks. It's a 4-3-3. Allison in the back. I'm going Tsimikas, Konate, Matip, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then I'm doing Curtis Jones, Fabinho, Henderson, with Jota, Firmino, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain up front. I think that Curtis Jones, with his snappiness a bit, I think that if Fabinho obviously plays off of that Konate, if he's stepping up well, I think it'll allow Tsimikas to get forward, and I think it'll allow Curtis Jones to kind of get up into these areas while Jota darts in, or potentially just kind of creates with a nice triangle here. On the other side, obviously, we're going to need Henderson's passing to be way better than it was before. We're going to need his positioning and his defensive prowess to kind of be up there. But I think that you have less of a threat from this side. But if Alexander-Arnold is back on his game, then you never know. But I think you have a more of a likelihood, especially because when you look at the 3 players that are most likely to shoot distance on our team, you're looking at Alexander-Arnold. Excuse me. You're looking at Alexander-Arnold. You're looking at Henderson. You're looking at Oxlade-Chamberlain. Those are the 3 players that seem, the least worried about shooting from distance. Frankly, Alexander-Arnold is the most accurate of the 3 for sure, but I think that also offers like an interesting dynamic to see if there's an overlap if one of these two in kind of getting more central and getting some space will take a crack at it. Curtis Jones is known to take a crack every once in a while as well. So I think offensively, and I think off the back of the last game, I think that's I think that's kind of the best position that you get in, and obviously we have our bench over here. I don't. And again, I don't know how I feel about Minamino even coming in, but and I think Milner can be a player that comes in and serves a role at some point, but he just was not there. We can't see the same type of performance, especially with 3 points on the line when we've been dropping points. Obviously, Chelsea plays Man City. That's a huge game. The shitty part is that ideally, identifying, how that goes. Ideally, you get, as much as you want City to lose points in terms of our own kind of race, you kind of want to draw there, but at the same time, hard to say. So, we've kind of given, we kind of put City in the driver's seat. So I think for now we just have to focus on our game. We have to focus on, making it through this period of time when, 3 key players are out, away at AFCON and an additional 2 at least potentially, squad involved players are out due to injury. So we just got to do what we have to do in terms of that, and hopefully, obviously, get through, the next round, take it to Emirates, have our players refreshed. Obviously, Matip, would be putting a lot in there, and so that might be a question on tomorrow's game. As what is today? I don't even know what today is. It's actually Sunday. Never mind. Excuse me. Today is Friday. So on Sunday's game, sorry. On Sunday's game, that might be a thing as well. Obviously, with Matip, they might be interested in resting him as well. But all honesty, I mean, we put Robertson through it for a long time when there was nobody else to kind of fill the void. So I think a lot of the players just kind of have to step up and do what they can. But anyway, I know it was a quicker video today, but just wanted to kind of get that out there. Hopefully, we can put in a much better performance, a much more attacking performance, and one with some clinical finishing. But we'll just have to see. Again, I think Brentford's a very talented team. They just had kind of a rude awakening with Southampton, but I think they're a very talented team, and I think they've already shown us before that they're coming to play. But at the same time, we've got to return Anfield to that kind of fortress status. We don't have a lot of time and a lot of games before you're bouncing back into UCL against Enter, and I don't think any of us would disagree about the quality that team has. So anyway, appreciate everybody tuning in. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you think I'm just as it says up top, if you think I'm just a wanker, hit the like button anyway. But I greatly appreciate it, and we will catch y'all soon.